recently there was this huge controversy in Silicon Valley after a woman who works in Silicon Valley tweeted a picture at a conference she was at, and the picture featured these guys that were sitting in back of her, and apparently they were making penis jokes that made her uncomfortable. Now, her name is Adria Richards, and she said, "Not cool, jokes about forking repos in a sexual way and big dongles right behind me." And as I said, she also included their pictures. Now, one of the guys in the picture, I guess the person who was making the joke, he has not been identified, so we don't know which one of them it is. He has been fired from the company he was working at. He has kids, and he apologized, but apparently the tweet wasn't enough. Richards went to the people who organized the conference and complained, and of course that also led to him getting fired. Now, as a response, the company that employs Richards fired her because they felt that she went too far.
Now, I disagree with everyone in this story, okay? Why are you putting up their picture? Look, in the beginning when I saw the headline, I thought that it was within her company. And if it's in a work environment, that's a totally different situation, and she's totally within her rights to say you've crossed the line. I didn't ask for that dongle joke in the middle of the office, and you're giving me that, right? And it's unacceptable. But they don't work together. She's just standing in front of them. They're not, and this is very important, they weren't talking about her, they weren't talking to her. She overheard them. Well, why don't you take your ears somewhere else then? I mean, so what do you get in the middle of my private conversation for? So I'm in the middle of somewhere and somebody's going to overhear my private jokes and then try to get me fired? Hell no. So I think she's massively wrong. On the other hand, I'm surprised they fired her. And I think that that's weird to fire her because this doesn't necessarily have to do anything with her job. I mean, I think she crossed the line, but that's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't have fired her for it because I don't think it has anything to do with her job. So stop firing people. That guy that they fired has 3 kids. Mm-hmm. No, that's wrong, man. And then, of course, then 4chan comes in and they start putting up vile pictures of her and talking about violence, and that's massively wrong. I disagree with what she did, but everybody bring it down, man. You don't immediately have to go to threats of violence, etc., right? So the problem is everybody in this story went to, DEFCON 4 or 1, whichever one's the stronger one, okay, immediately when they should have just chilled the hell out, everybody involved.
I definitely agree everyone should have chilled out. I mean, when I originally read the story, I had the same exact response as you, because the first story I read was about how there's a subreddit now called Feminist Victims Fund, and it didn't really explain what Richards had done. It just kind of explained that this group is against feminists and they're raising $1,000 for the guy who got fired. Mm-hmm. But when you read into it, what Richards did was completely wrong. You're an adult, okay? And let's say she's in a situation where she really is uncomfortable and she can't move and sit somewhere else. It's assigned seating. That sometimes happens at these conferences. Yep. What you do as an adult is you turn around if you're truly uncomfortable and you let them know, hey, can you guys just please cut it out with the dick jokes? I don't like it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I wouldn't personally have a problem with it, but if it bothers her, she can definitely voice her opinion and let them know. But instead, in today's culture, as soon as you're uncomfortable with something, let me get my phone, let me take pictures of it, let me tweet about it, let me put people on blast. No, that's not the right way to handle it. Be an adult and don't go to social media immediately before even talking to the guys.
Right. Now, and on Reddit, I don't mind people raising money for that guy. I get it. Like we said, he's got 3 kids. We think he was unjustly fired, etc. But I don't like the title, like the Feminist Victims Fund.
Yeah, because
don't cry about feminism, and that's so weak. And no, women don't have more power than men in society. Look, has the situation of women improved vastly over the last 100 years? Of course. 100 years ago, they couldn't even vote. When you're talking about the 1950s and 60s, women were lucky to get jobs as secretaries. Eleanor Clift, who is a longtime writer for Newsweek, was a secretary. And turns out she was an amazing political commentator all these years, but would have never gotten a chance. She was among the first generation to get a chance. So it's just, guys, calm down. Yes, you don't rule everything anymore, okay? And some people love to cry over it. And sometimes, yes, there is an overreaction, okay? But you don't need to set up groups where you all hold hands and cry about how feminists are so strong, etc. Now, helping that guy out with some money, we don't know who he is, and that's why people are wondering, wait, who are we sending the money to? But helping, if you do know who he is sending the money, that I have no problem with, because I really think he should be rehired.
Yeah, I think it's also important to point out that you can't group all feminists into one category. That would be like saying everyone who's religious is the same. No, there are fundamentalists, and then there are perfectly lovely religious people who don't try to dictate your life based on what they believe, right? And the same goes with feminists. There are feminists out there who truly want equality, and then there are radicals that freak out over every little thing, right? So if you go to that subreddit page, people are writing these insane comments. For instance, unfortunately in today's climate, being a man has become a financial liability. Say the wrong thing in the wrong place, and you can find your entire life ruined, destroyed. Feminists have fought for equality, but now they're out for our rights. They're destroying us financially. They're trying to tear apart our families. Except, you know, women are part of your families, so that doesn't really make much sense. But anyway, look, everybody calm down.
You know what it sounds like? And I hate to say this, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the guys in the old days in the civil rights era who were like, well, I mean, I guess the blacks got their rights, but now they're coming after our rights. I mean, we had the right to keep them down and put them into separate bathrooms and water fountains and restaurants. Now they're coming after our rights. You want to sit in the front of the bus? That's my right to sit in the front of the bus. You got to take your ass to the back. Mm-hmm. So yes, you don't rule everything anymore. Calm down. It's going to be fine. And if you're such a man, you should go out and compete and succeed within this current context and environment. Nobody's taking away your rights. Bring it down. Now, in this case, again, it's a bad case to talk about because we think the guy is right.